My name is Kari, and this is THON, who will be speaking after me. And this is Emily, also known as Emma. THON this year has been especially meaningful to us because we weren't able to make it to THON last year. And last year at this time, we weren't sure if Emily would ever make it to another THON. Emily was diagnosed with leukemia in May 2010, just after her 5th birthday. We were told that she had about a 90% chance of being cured. But Emily ended up in that 10% of patients who relapse. We found out about her relapse in October 2011. And at that time, we were told that she would need a bone marrow transplant. The plan was to give her 3 to 4 months of chemo and then schedule the transplant in February of 2012. When we heard the month of February, our first thought was, well, wait, that's THON. And so we asked her doctor, we're still gonna be able to go to THON, right? And he said, no. I'm sorry, but you're not gonna make it to THON this year. Having to tell Emily that she had relapsed was tremendously difficult, but telling her that she would miss THON weekend and all the other THON events that year was really heartbreaking. Emily was scheduled for her transplant last February, but she relapsed again just 2 weeks before the transplant. Over the next several weeks, we would find out that chemotherapy was no longer going to get her back into remission, which meant that she was ineligible for a transplant, and it left her with no other options. The only tiny bit of hope that we had was that we had heard about a highly experimental clinical trial in Philadelphia. It was a trial that had never been tried on any other child in the world, and they were going to take out Emily's T cells, train them to fight cancer in the lab, and then put them back into her in the hopes that it would fight off her leukemia. Something told us that we had to try it and that she needed to be the first child. We went to Philadelphia. It was a really difficult decision because we had to transfer there, because we had to leave the Hershey medical staff who had taken such a wonderful care of her for over 2 years, almost 2 years. And we were also worried and upset because we felt like we were leaving our THON family, who had been a huge support system to us for a long time. When we got to Philadelphia, we were scared and we felt alone because we had left our whole support system behind. But a few days after we got to Philadelphia, some of the nurses at Children's Hospital there, some of the nurses and the staff started coming into our room, and they would say, we heard that you're a THON family, and we just want you to know that, I went to Penn State, and I was involved in THON, and I danced, or I canned, or I was on a committee. And we know how important THON is to the families, and so we wanted to come and say that we had been involved. And that was the connection that we needed to feel like we had our support system back and to feel like we were more at home there. They understood how much THON means to the families. Over the next several months, which were the most difficult months of our lives, and also for Emily, many of you continued to support us by sending emails, text messages, Facebook messages. You sent cards and packages, and you came to visit Emily. You were always there for us when we needed you most. Emily got very sick from her treatment and ended up on a ventilator for a couple of weeks. On the night that doctors told us that they didn't think that Emily was going to make it through the night, groups of you thought nothing of jumping into your cars and driving in the middle of the night to Philadelphia to be with us and to be with Emily. That was more important. That was more important to you than studying for finals, and some of you even missed finals the next day. But you felt that it was important to be there for us. Doctor said, we watched over her together all night long, and doctor said that slowly her blood pressure would keep lowering and her breathing would slow. And when we were in the room, all I heard was the sound of the machines that were helping to keep her alive. And I knew if she could hear them, that she would be scared. And so I took my phone, and I poured up some music on it, and I laid it by her ear. And I played her favorite song, Dynamite, by Tile Cruz. I think everybody knows that. It became her favorite song at THON in 2011, and she calls it her THON song. I'm pretty sure we've listened to it thousands of times. And I put it up by her ear, and it played for a while, and things stopped getting worse. They weren't getting better, but things stopped getting worse. And doctors can't explain to us why she held on that night, but even though she says that she doesn't remember any of that, I feel like at that time a part of her could hear us. She heard the music, she knew that we were there, and she knew that you were there, and she was thinking, wait a minute, this is my THON song. I may have missed THON 2012, but I'm not going to miss another. Those of you who know Emily well know that she's feisty that way.
Yeah.
She hung on long enough for doctors to figure out what medicine to use that would eventually help her to begin breathing on her own again. A few days after Emily was off the ventilator, she was still very sick. She was in a lot of pain. She had a hard time speaking, and she wasn't able to sit up on her own. She was just very weak. She was frustrated, and we were having a hard time motivating her to do the things that she needed to do to get stronger. One of our organization members, our organization is PRSSA. They're an awesome group. One of our members, Angela, who danced last year, came to visit Emily in the hospital. And she came to visit, and I said, I'm going to leave the room. I need to go make a call to my family to update them on what's going on. So I called our family and I said, you know, Emily's not having a good day. She doesn't want to get up, she doesn't want to do anything, and I'm not really sure how to help her. I got off the phone with them, and I walked back into Emily's room, and there Angela was. She had Emily sitting up, propped up in bed, reading a book and giggling. She had done in 10 minutes what Tom and I weren't able to do for days. You're always there for Emily when you need her. Those are just a few examples of how you've helped our family and how meaningful you are. A lot of people talk about the money that THON raises, but you're there for other families in so many other ways. You were there for Emily and us, even giving up part of your Christmas Eve and Christmas with your families this year when Emily was hospitalized with the flu. You always bring a lot of fun and laughter to Emily when you allow her to drench you with water from water guns, cover you with silly string, spray your hair purple, regularly get your face painted with frosting, or crawl around our house meowing and barking like dogs and cats because Emily thinks that that's funny. The treatment, although experimental, worked for Emily, and she's now healthy and been in remission for 9 months. Because of your support and inspiration, we got to see Emily smile and dance again this weekend.
Kari and I agreed to split this, and she just covered 95% of what we had to say. So, one thing that when Emily was so sick and we didn't know what else to do, you know, we asked for prayers. That's all we did from the beginning. That's all we ever asked for, and it seemed to spread pretty fast on Twitter up in this area. And when I was messaged at the hospital and said that prayers for Emily is trending on Twitter, I did have to ask if that's a good thing. We really appreciate the support we've had. The doctors and the staff and the nurses, everybody that works at all the hospitals. I'm just humbled by how much stress that you're put through, and you always come in and try to make our day better and try to fight cancer with every tool you have. We want to continue helping get more research money to give you more weapons to do that. And I would like to say that I'm convinced that we received a miracle. We were guided by a higher power when making decisions. The other Four Diamonds families reaching out to us guided our decisions. The doctors and nurses took the time to explain to us about experimental studies, helped guide our decisions. The research we did and all the prayers helped guide us. Emily's will to live and fight help guide us and teach us to never give up and believe in yourself. Remember that you are the only one that can limit what you will achieve. Being part of THON makes me strive every day to be a better person. We're going to continue to spread awareness and help raise money, like I said, with cancer research and treatments. And we aren't sure what will happen with Emily tomorrow, but we've heard all of you say that someday we will dance in celebration. For our family, with your help, that day is today.
Thank you for inspiring me and helping me get through my fighting with cancer.